you follow what the rule book says, and you go about your business and your work, and you know, if they tell you not to do it, and then you get busted, and what happens, then you suffer the consequences.
That was Carson Palmer commenting on what he thought of the 4-game suspension for Tom Brady. Says if you get busted, you suffer the consequences. Was that smart of him to say, Stephen A?
Well, I don't think it was smart. And I don't think it was smart because at this stage and point in Tom Brady's career, with what he has accomplished, what he has meant to the NFL, you don't want to tug on Superman's cape, particularly if you're the member of of a team where, the Arizona Cardinals are very, very good, but you really, really stunk up the joint the last time we saw you, which is Carson Palmer. We sit up there and say, hell, maybe you should deflate footballs. Maybe you should deflate footballs excessively. Maybe you should sit up there and mingle with some of those equipment managers and others to make sure they deflate the footballs for you the way you had that choke job that you had, Carson Palmer. I say all of that to say what he said wasn't wrong. You do the crime, you do the time. And I've been on Tom Brady for the longest time. Look, man, you should have, Max, just so you know, this is what I want to let you know about what I had to say. Before you got on the show, I kept religiously saying, if I'm Tom Brady, I got the supermodel wife, I look GQ, I'm the face of the NFL. Roger Goodell, how you doing? How's everything going? Can we get out? Can we go to dinner? Let me and Giselle take you and the wife out. We, just rap. And then after that, you and the commissioner go out on the patio. Look, I wanted them to deflate the footballs. I did not know they would do it to the illegal limit. I just like the footballs deflated. I didn't know that, the exact number of PSIs and all of this stuff. I apologize. You don't need to bother them. Just, can you work with me here? Goodell might have gave him 2 games instead of 4, and that would have been it. But instead, he dragged this on for years and years and years. I blame Tom Brady for that. Having said all of that, that's for me to say as a pundit, okay, as a commentator, as a journalist. If you are Carson Palmer, who's never been in the Super Bowl, let alone won a Super Bowl, who on your best day ain't Tom Brady, somebody you should not only be looking up to with respect, you should revere, because he is everything that everybody in Arizona, just like everyone in Cincinnati used to feel, he is everything we all wish you should be, okay, that you should wish you should be. You don't say something like this. You really, really don't. I thought Carson Palmer should have just chilled, kept his mouth shut. He had no business commenting on this. That's what I think.
As usual, might makes right for Stephen A. Smith. Because Brady's more of a baller than Carson Palmer should keep his mouth shut.
It's none of your business.
I don't know how they do it. Hey, Brick, I don't know how you gangsters do it, corrupting the judicial process. Your advice to Tom Brady is literally, go corrupt the judicial process here. Go get cozy with the commissioner.
I like the patio.
And try to persuade him to lessen the punishment. Well, guess what? Someone like Carson Palmer, though I also think maybe it's best not to say anything.
Oh, so you agree with me. Go ahead. Keep going.
I don't. I don't. Whatever you want.
However, someone like Carson Palmer, really what this comes down to is, do you think Tom Brady did it, yes or no? And Carson Palmer here is saying implicitly, I think he did it. And not only that there was a process. Now, it wasn't like in a court of law beyond a reasonable doubt. It was just that more likely than not, he did it. And that's good enough for Carson Palmer. He feels, maybe correctly, that he has the moral high ground here. From that moral high ground, if you're playing by the rules and someone else isn't, you have the position to point the finger and say, you cheated and now you're being punished.
You know what the weak element is in all of this that you're leaving out?
What?
They play New England this weekend. But you're going up against Jimmy Garoppolo. You see what I'm trying to say? So Tom Brady's stuck at home. And here you come sticking out your chest. If Tom Brady was across that sideline and you had to worry about him this weekend, would you have brought that up? I'm just curious, Max, because I feel you. I get where you're coming from. You get where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
But I'm asking you a question. Yeah. You know, as somebody who covers a pugilistic sport, the voice of boxing, as we all know, you and the great Jim Lampley, you know as well as it's almost the equivalent of talking about a fighter you have no intentions of fighting. You see what I'm saying? You want to chirp and talk, but you ain't never planning on getting in the ring with him.
Triple G is fighting this weekend in England because everyone who was supposed to fight him wouldn't fight him. Kell Brook had to move up and fight him.
Kell Brook had to move up from the welterweight division 2 weight classes
Everyone's
to
talking.
fight Triple G
No one's signing.
because everybody took Canelo Alvarez going to invite Triple G into the ring and then turn around and not fight him after talk about we don't run from, we ain't scared of anybody. I can't repeat the words he said, but we not scared of anybody, but blah, 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 and then don't fight him. This is the equivalent of that. You Carson Palmer, you chirping, but Tom Brady's going to be back home in Foxborough.
It is kind of
you are going up against Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, people are saying he's like the new Tony Romo.
Oh, come on.
It is kind of like, it is kind of like tugging on
Jimmy
Superman's
G.
cape.
You know what I'm saying?
If Lex Luthor has Superman all tied up
Guys,
in
maybe
tonight,
people are just asking him about it because that's who they're playing, and he's just answering.
Listen.
He's speaking truth like we do on the show.
Well, that's very, very nice of you to say, Molly. So beautiful of you to say, so eloquent. But here's the deal. It's really, really interesting how everyone wants to lean on you were asked a question, so you're just answering. There are plenty of people who are asked questions every day, and there's certain things that you just don't touch on because it's none of your business. This guy is going up against the New England Patriots this Sunday night. I like Carson Palmer. He did a choke job in the playoffs. He was horrible in the NFC Championship game. But the bottom line is he had a pretty damn good season. I respect his skills. I respect his abilities. And I respect their team. I like those guys. Patterson, the Honey Badger, the whole crew. I love them. But here's the deal. How you going to sit up there and talk about Tom Brady when you know good and damn well you don't have to play against Tom Brady this weekend? It's not even, it would have been bad enough if he wasn't on the schedule. They are on the schedule.
Well,
is it the Tom Brady? Is it the Tom? I'm talking about his words. You know you going up against New England, but you don't have to worry about Tom Brady.
Well, but that's the reason you answer that way. Oh, what do you think about Tom Brady's suspension? In other words, you don't have to play him right now. And Carson Palmer's like, look, I got to play who's on the other side of the field. I can't choose. If someone breaks the rules and they're not there, what do you want me to do about it?
No, but you know what I'm saying. If you are going up against somebody, yes, you have to go up against New England's defense. Fair enough. But the flip side to it is that you're a quarterback. You usually get measured against the opposing individual at your position. And Tom Brady has a history of making elite people look like fools. So what would he do to Carson Palmer in terms of his performance, no matter who he's going up against, because he's that big time?
What we'll say about Carson Palmer. Carson Palmer was prematurely anointed the next great quarterback out of college.
We agree there.
It was like Brady and Peyton, and here comes Carson Palmer, and he got hurt. It didn't exactly work out that way, and he's now on an excellent, well-balanced team, maybe the best balanced team in the NFL, partly because of his presence. But he choked, there's no other way to put it, in the playoffs, and that has him looking weak to some people, I think including you right now. And so you don't like the fact that he's speaking the truth about Tom Brady because he just choked in the playoffs. Now, I'll also say this. In terms of deflating the football, I remember when the Mitchell report came out, I wanted to come out with
Mitchell report, baseball.
Baseball steroid scandal, right?
Came out in 2009, but it was about players in 2003.
Right.
Go ahead.
I remember when that came out, I wanted to come out with the Kellerman report. Here are the players who need to be on the steroids, right? The sorry players. They need to jump on the juice. And Carson Palmer needs to do something in the moment of truth to get him to perform as he normally does. This, however, is game one of the regular season. This ain't the playoffs. They're coming into him with microphones. What do you think about this whole situation? And he's like, look, I play by the rules. Yeah. This guy didn't.
Let's also make sure that whether it's SportsCenter, it's us and others, we made sure to blow up the photo of Tom Brady talking to Odell Beckham Jr., exchanging jerseys, signatures, stuff like that. Why? Because the profound respect that you have for a four-time Super Bowl champion, particularly from a young guy, resonates. Carson Palmer is not a young guy. He's been around quite some times. He knows how difficult it is to succeed at this level. And Tom Brady has done it over and over and over again. So for him to make the quotes, I'm not casting aspersions on Carson Palmer, the person. I don't know him personally, and I think that he's a good football player. All I'm saying is that it's like, damn. You know, talk about kicking the dude when he's down. Tom Brady is not going to be playing there this weekend against you guys. There's a lot of people that have been asked about Tom Brady. There's a lot of football players that could have said something about Tom Brady. For Carson Palmer to open his mouth and basically remind us all that, you know what, I think he's guilty. A few of us think he's guilty. You could have avoided doing that is all I'm trying to say.
Well, let's put it this way.
enough.
Better ball now.
Maybe I should pick the Cardinals for our Eliminator Challenge. That's another good one.
Who knows what you...
After the break, though, I'm just going to win. That's all we know. That's the lock.
You're a flip-flopper.
Oh,
I
goodbye.
can tell you that.
First Take is presented by Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here. And in part by Sully, the untold story behind the Miracle on the Hudson, in theaters tomorrow. And PlayStation Vue, live TV, no annual contract, and no surprise fees.
You don't want to miss tomorrow's show. Stephen A. has a huge announcement for our First Take fans. Listen, people, this one, it's a game changer. Make sure you tune in tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern right here on ESPN.
I'm really getting an attitude with people here at First Take. Why do they keep showing these photos when I got a little belly? I've lost 12
You are so slim right
Might
now.
have had that. You might have been carrying around that belly for a while.
I'm just saying. I mean, damn,
that's an
take
old
a current
Pictures of you for
photo.
like 3 years?
I have a good idea.
That photo right there is more than 2-3 years old.
Guess what? I have a great idea. Why don't we take new headshots? Because I'd like a new one myself. How about that?
You don't need it.
Could we get
Fine.
a photographer?
We need help. I mean, come on.
The Browns announced on Wednesday that RG3 was voted by his teammates as one of the team's captains. After the announcement, Hugh Jackson was asked if he rigged the voting. Wow.
They're 100% accurate. They're that one almost went over my head. Donald Trump, Hugh Trump, no. We didn't do that. I looked at them. I did. I was a little surprised. I'll be very honest with you. I was surprised because obviously Robert hadn't been here very long, you know, and we haven't played a real football game yet. So for him to be voted captain, I mean, he should feel good about that. His teammates feel good about him. But no, we didn't rig that by no stretch of the imagination.
Stephen A., your thoughts on RG3 being the El Captain?
First of all, I wouldn't put it past the Browns to have rigged it, okay? I don't think it would be necessary. Let me finish. Let me go. I wouldn't put it past them to have rigged it because guess what? If it were me, I would have. Here's why. Because that team needs to believe in RG3, and they need everybody to believe that folks are in that locker room believing in RG3. RG3 has been through a lot. I do not think it was rigged. I just think I wouldn't put it past anybody for wanting this desperately to happen. Not because of his ability, Max, but because of all that he's been through. We need to reflect for a moment. RG3 has been through a lot. I can't say this enough. Do y'all have any idea what it feels like to be on a team, to be the franchise guy, to be the star, and to the point where inside of 2 years, you are on that bench and they won't even allow you to wear a uniform? That was RG3 last year. So it's important that he got this captain's title.
Once again, you want to rig voting? You wanted to rig the judicial process before?
No.
It's amazing that I can win every debate even though you try to rig this show.
Please.
Seriously, I think this shows that RG3 has matured as a player and person in the NFL. I do believe that his teammates like him, based on all the, the comments you hear and the way from him and teammates in the preseason. He was humbled isn't exactly the right word because you would think he still remains confident in order for his teammates to have this kind of confidence in him. But he was one of the rare players who, for a short time, no one can do it forever, but for a short time in the NFL, was able to impose himself physically on the game. Eventually, they adjust. There are too many great athletes, too many great, smart athletes. You can't do it forever. And they adjusted to him, and then he was dealing with the injury. I think he's a fully or a much more mature player now, and I expect the Browns to surprise people. I think they're going to be better than people expect.
You're taking them in the Eliminator Challenge. We're tuning up the competition here. Yes, it's the First Take Eliminator Challenge. Here are the rules, people. Each week, this NFL season, Max, Stephen A, and I will pick our lock of the week, our team we think that will definitely win the matchup. If you choose correctly, you move on to the next week. If you are wrong, you are eliminated from the season-long competition. The catch is that once you choose a team, you cannot pick that team again. So let's kick things off with week 1 in ESPN.com's Eliminator Challenge. You are going with Max Kellerman.
It's a great schedule, by the way, because a lot of evenly matched good matchups.
Great
Dolphins
schedule
at Seattle. I like Seattle at home as a lock.
What about you, Molly?
I'm going Seattle at home, too. He actually copied me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Who knows with you, Molly?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Oh.
You know what I'm rolling with as my lock for the week?
Who?
I'm rolling with the Kansas City Chiefs at home over the San Diego Chargers. It's in Kansas City, and it's a 1 o'clock game. They're out west.
Yeah.
That's 10 in the morning to them. They're losing this game. Kansas City's winning this game.
Arrowhead's
I'm going with
tough to
Kansas
play,
City
but
and
Seattle
Arrowhead.
is so tough to play.
Yeah, well, I mean,
It's
look,
Miami.
The
There's nothing to think about.
Dolphins will be improved, but look at some of these other matchups, really evenly matched, and Seattle is good enough.
I could have went Colts too. That was
I actually could have gone
too.
Browns over Eagles at Philly. I think
smart.
You weren't bold enough. I wish you did.
something.
Change it, bye.
I think